Are you looking for a new hot hatch? If so, don't despair, there is one that might just suit you. Okay, so we can drive this car around, and let me show you what it's like to drive this car around town, and also hopefully I'll be able to go through a couple quick corners so that you can maybe get a feel of what this car is like in terms of corner stability, and also how stiff or otherwise the suspension is. Let's go. As you probably know by now, in order to start the car, you actually turn this little key here, which you obviously can't see at this point because of the camera angle, but I can show that to you later on. And then now you put it into drive. I normally drive the car in B mode. My preference is B mode. I just find it a little bit easier to drive an EV in the one pedal mode. Not necessarily easier, I suppose it's something that I'm used to driving, having owned different EVs in the past. So the first thing I normally do is obviously put it into B mode, and then the second thing I would normally do is to change the experiences into either go-kart or timeless. So I've got it in timeless right now, which I can't really show you once again because, oh yeah, actually no, you can see it. Very good. So this is the timeless experience, and you can probably hear the sound, the artificial sound that is coming from the car, and it sounds, it's actually very interesting. I didn't really think about the fact that it sounds like an old car. But interestingly, when my son was in the car for the first time and I put it onto that mode, he said to me, oh, it sounds like an old car, which is quite interesting because to me it just sounds like, I don't know, an artificial sound of sort. But apparently it's a pre-recorded sound of the original 1960s Mini, and it has been digitalized and also mechanically changed, well, not mechanically but digitally changed for it to sound a bit more futuristic. So but it is based on an old car, interestingly. But for me, the sound is actually quite important in giving me the feel of driving a car, if that makes sense. In the past, when I've owned other EVs, it always feels like I'm just driving an appliance. It's great for around town, but it just doesn't give me that sensory extra feeling of driving a car. Whereas this one, even though the sound is artificial and you know it, but you sort of forget about it, and you sort of, it sort of becomes part of the car and part of the experience of driving the car, which I quite like. So you can probably hear the sound of the car quite well now when I accelerate like that, which, you know, like I said, it does give you that extra sense of driving a car, if you like. So again, don't know if you can see this well, but if I accelerate, so I'm going at 60 kilometers an hour now, and if I accelerate, not only does the sound pick up, the car also obviously accelerates quite fast. It is quite a quick accelerating car. It does have traction issues, obviously being front wheel drive. You do need to feather the throttle nice and sturdy, otherwise it will spin, and you will have to hold on to the steering wheel very tightly if you don't. There is a lot of torque steer, but again, I don't actually see it as much of a negative. Yes, it can be a negative at times, I suppose, but it does add to that extra element of driving, and I actually like it. I like front wheel drive hot hatches, and it does give you that liveliness feel and that feel of being, of driving a performance car, which I really like. So I'm just gonna take this turn here, and I'm gonna try to accelerate as I come out of that turn, and let's see whether the torque steer is gonna cause much of an issue. Oh, here we go. See, it's pretty good. Coming out of the corner, I can accelerate quite hard, and the tires will hold on. The tires are pretty sticky actually. I've been driving around prior to me starting this video, so the tires are already warm. But this tire, once it gets warm, is actually very, very sticky. Again, yeah, and it corners really flat, so I think it helps as well that the car has got some weight to it, so it leans on the inside wheel a lot more when you're cornering, so therefore giving it more lateral grip. But overall, I don't, obviously, this is not an all-wheel drive car, which I don't like, by the way, so you're not going to get that feeling of grip all the time. You do have to feather your throttle. You do need to know how to use your right foot, which I enjoy, hence why I prefer rear wheel drive and front wheel drive cars. I will show you later on what it's like when the torque steer really kicks in, especially in go-kart mode. You really have to hold on to the steering wheel like that. You can see as I accelerate really hard out of that corner, wheel starts moving around, and I really had to hold on to the steering wheel and course correct appropriately. But like I said, part and parcel of driving this car, and part and parcel of the fun. Obviously, I'm driving around town right now, so you could argue that you don't want that driving around town, but then again, you don't drive around town like that normally anyway, right? It's usually driven quite sedately and quite smoothly, so you don't really feel that. But when you want to have some fun, and when you're in the mountains, in the twisties, you can really give it a go, and it will feel alive, and it is a lot of fun. The other thing that you probably are noticing right now is how bouncy the car can be. So I'm in inner city Melbourne, or just outside of the Melbourne Central Business District, as you could probably see the Melbourne skyline in the background. This is an industrial area, and the roads are not the smoothest, and it's got little undulations and little bumps and broken pieces, and you can see every time I go over a broken piece, the car does jolt around a bit. It's not too bad. I do have a M2 that I've been using as a daily driver, and that's a bit softer, a bit more compliant, but this isn't too bad in comparison. Maybe slightly stiffer, but what it doesn't do very well is when there is undulation in the road. So bigger sort of dips, if you like, but not broken road. When you go through that sort of undulation, the suspension doesn't settle very well as it comes out of that compression. I don't know what it is, spring rate maybe, and obviously it's a compromise for Mini to be able to get a suspension that allows you to have that go-kart feel, that allows you to have that flat cornering, but at the same time trying to then also counter the 1635 kilos or whatever it is, 1680 kilos weight of this car, and the relatively short wheelbase as well. So you can see that there are some compromises that's been made by the Mini engineers, which is understandable. Having said that, having owned other Minis in the past, BMW Minis, I can say that it's not that different to other Minis. Other Minis obviously feel a bit lighter, a bit faster on the foot, if you like, but this isn't that far off that. So you can see I just went through a roundabout, which I'll turn back and do a full round around the roundabout just so that you feel it. But you can see how flat the car actually corners around the roundabout. There's hardly any body roll at all, which is no surprise. You're talking about a Mini here. So I'm just approaching the roundabout now, and so if I go around it, you can see I'm carrying a bit of speed into the roundabout. It understeers a little bit, but it grips quite well coming out of the corner, and this thing shots you out. So very impressive, very impressive, and a lot of fun. I really enjoy driving this car. I'm very used to performance cars. I've owned many performance cars, and I've driven many other performance cars as well, and I really enjoy this particular one. Some people describe Minis as bulldogs, and in many ways it does feel like a very active bulldog that likes to be unleashed, and you really need to wring the neck of this car in order to get the best out of it. But you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it when you do so. Alright, so let me drive it very sedately and normally, and let me go into the freeway as well so that you can get a feel of what it's like driving around the freeway, and maybe even the sound level on the freeway. I'll just go for a short, maybe a kilometer or something, just so you can hear it and feel it. Again, you can feel the undulation on the road, and the broken tarmac on the road. Very I was going to say very well, but unfortunately for most people, they would not enjoy that feel. Alright, so I'm entering the freeway now. So the other really nice thing about this car is that it's got very good, what do you call it, assisted driving. So just like a Tesla self-driving mode, BMW's version of self-driving mode is very good. You can see I'm not touching the pedals, I'm not touching the steering wheel, it's just steering itself on the freeway, and it's very accurate. It does it very well. It probably doesn't recognize urban roads as well as BMW. Sorry, when I say urban, as in non-freeway roads as well as a Tesla. But I would say that it is also smoother than a Tesla. It actually doesn't brake as suddenly and doesn't accelerate as suddenly as a Tesla as well. So I think overall this is probably a better system. If you were to drive longer distance, this is probably a better system and a smoother system as well. So freeway driving, definitely activate the assisted driving mode. There are other assistants on this car as well. It's parking assistance. The parking, I've tried that a couple of times now. The parking assist is very fast to activate compared to some of the older cars that I've had, and it's a lot and very accurate. It does scare you a little bit. It does get very close to the curb compared to some of the older parking assistants that I've had. It does get you very close to the curb, and it does it really fast, which being my own car and not a test drive car, panicked a couple of times when I tried it, but it does it beautifully. So it's very, very good. And there is also apparently a more advanced parking mode, which I haven't played around with yet. I've just tried some basic stuff. I'm not very big with the electronic stuff. Usually for me, the car that I buy is just, you know, for driving fun. It's either for commute or for driving fun. So I very rarely get into the more advanced electronic stuff, which I know this car has as well. So as you can see on freeway driving, it's very smooth, very easy. The steering's very, very direct, which is nice. The weight of the steering isn't too bad. One thing I was going to try, if I can get back on, unfortunately no, I'm now stuck in a traffic jam. One thing I was going to try and show you is the boost mode. I think I might still do that after I get through this traffic jam. This looks like it could be a while. Nope, it's moving. That's good. I will try to get back onto the freeway perhaps, or find an empty sort of road, and I will show you the boost mode. I will now also switch into go-kart mode. As you can hear, it goes woohoo when you put it into go-kart mode, which is kind of fun, I suppose. And you can put it into the speedometer, which I prefer the looks of. I didn't actually know how to do this. I had to ask a forum how to do this, and apparently you just press the button, the speed, the digital speed there, and then it will convert it into a analog dial, which obviously is also digital in this case. Okay, so yeah, even that brief acceleration like that, I can feel the steering wheel is moving around a bit. It's obviously torque steer. Being an EV, having that instant torque, obviously you're going to get that more than an ICE car. Alright, so yeah, unfortunately there is a bit of traffic here, but already part of the reason why I was getting torque steer there is because I switched to the go-kart mode. And with the go-kart mode, the first thing you'll notice is the throttle response is sharper. It's the same as any ICE cars. When you put it into sports mode, sports plus, it sharpens up the throttle, and that's exactly what it does with the go-kart mode as well. The steering wheel also feels a bit heavier, which I believe you can also change. I'm not 100% sure. Again, haven't played around with it, even though I've done 818 kilometers on this car. I've had it for 4 weeks. I haven't really had the chance to play around with all the modes and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not very big into those sort of things, but I should probably set it up exactly how I like it, like in my M cars. And so we're moving now, so let me see if I can turn into somewhere. Actually, no, this is good. Okay, so sorry, the traffic's not clear enough for me to try to accelerate hard and go into a boost mode. So let me turn in here. I do need to get back into the industrial areas so that I can use that. Alright. As you can hear, the sound experience on the go-kart mode is also a bit different from the other mode, the timeless mode, and you can hear this off-throttle sound on the car as well, which is obviously again fake, but it does sound kind of cool. I'll see if I can get that happening again. You hear that? Is that? It's kind of fun. Okay, so after we get through this stretch, I should be able to put it into boost mode for a short while. So the way the boost mode works is there's a pedal here, which I don't know if you can see it. It's oh yeah, you can probably see it. So the the pedal is like a pedal shifter in a automatic or PDK sort of cars. But it's only on one side, and it says boost on the front of it. So you just flick it in, same as you do with a pedal shifter, and it will activate. You'll see later on, it will activate the boost mode. In fact, I'll just show it to you now. You see it says boost, and then it'll count down. So that it counts down from 10 to 1, because it gives you 10 seconds of extra 20 kilowatt of boost. Sorry, 20 horsepower, no, 20 kilowatts of boost, and also extra torque as well. You can really feel it. The first couple of times I tried it, I thought it just felt like, again, you're boosting up that that sensitivity of the throttle again, you know, as if like you're going from sports mode to a sports plus mode in some ICE cars. That's how it felt like initially. As I've tried it a few more times, I've gotten more used to it. You can actually feel that it is actually a lot more power coming out of the car, which is nice. Especially when you're already going fast. If you're at 100 kilometers an hour on a racetrack, for example, and you press the boost mode, you can feel that power come on strong, and you'll be able to accelerate faster as well, compared to not having the boost mode on. So yeah, it's a fun little function. Not quite sure when you're going to use it, given that, you know, it's not a setting that you can set and have it on that extra 20 kilowatts and 30 newton meters the whole time, whatever the numbers are. Rather, it's just for 10 seconds. So I'm not sure how you use it. I suppose if you're racing somebody, you know, you can use it to overtake them, a bit like a DRS in an F1 car, to give you the extra speed. But otherwise, I'm not sure how you use it. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Oh, this car says turn up in front of me, so that's not good. Okay, I'll just show you now. All right, so I'm accelerating. I put it on boost mode. The acceleration is a lot faster. You'll feel it when. Okay, now. Whoa. I can feel the extra torque steer when I accelerate now with the boost mode. You can really feel the difference between the two. So there you have it. All right, I'm not going to try it again. I'm not going to lose my license because of it. So hope you got a sense of it. Hope you also got a sense of the torque steer that it induces, and you see what it's for and what it's all about. Okay. All right. Hopefully that gives you a good feel of the way the car drives. If you've got any questions, let me know. I will endeavor to answer any questions that you have. Or if you would like to see anything with regards to the car, let me know. I will film another video if you want to see any aspect of the car that I haven't shown yet. I will do so. All right, thank you for watching.